The Tesseract Files is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hello there.
Long live the fighters!
Guess it's not a good day to be a bad guy.
Unfortunately, no one can be told. You have to see it for yourself.
Here on issue 11 of the Tesseract Files, introduce yourself and your occupation.
So, what's going on? My name is Kehinde Martin, also known as ATO Worldwide. I am your resident nerd. All right.
That's the official title. It's on the card.
With gang affiliations, I'm joking. Occupation. I don't know, man. Trying to maintain my happiness, man. I'm a musician. I'm a songwriter, producer, composer. Also a voice actor. I'm a very proud voice actor, and I love voice acting. I mean, a little bit of on-screen acting as well. I mean, that's my thing. But like, music and acting are just my two things. I just love them the most. It's what I came up with. It's what I came up in. Yeah, I was a fanatic. I was a Fox Kids fanatic in the 90s, brother, man. Like,
you were an animaniac.
Yes, sir.
It's funny you were talking about like the beginnings of when you first started going to Comic-Con. San Diego Comic-Con. That's the beginnings of, like, Comic-Con had been around for quite a minute before that, but right around that time is the beginnings of what is the explosion of it now, where it increasingly got bigger and bigger and bigger every year after that, because because one, those comic book movies started to blow up, and then they started that's really the beginnings of Hall H. Everybody seeing the new trailer and seeing the new cast, and you had to have your big debut at Comic-Con. And now voice actors because of the things that started then, are now just as big as your everyday regular actor. Like, you will go to these cons and people you wouldn't be able to walk from one end of the building to the other, because immediately somebody will turn around and go, and they just immediately know exactly what anime you did, how many characters you were. They are just as known as everybody else is. The people who are massive, especially anime fans, the people who are big time anime fans can pick out their favorite voice actor in a crowd no different than they can pick out Tom Cruise. Like, it's just increasingly become bigger and bigger and bigger, to the degree now where you have whole conventions that don't even specialize in other types of celebs. It's just strictly either the voice actors or voice actors and cosplayers. That's
the new jam, bro. Like, I mean, hell, like, I think when you were talking about the explosion of Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, what a lot of people don't know is that San Diego Comic-Con is the prime. That's the granddaddy of all Comic-Cons, right? So to go to it when it was like, I'm sure, it started way back when I was like, before I was
it'd been around for a minute, but it was always what a typical convention was at that point in time. Everybody who's hardcore into it is there. Now everybody's there.
Dude, it's like, so my director, we were just talking about our itinerary. I mean, hell, I'm doing an X-Men 97 panel. Like, to me, that is ridiculous, because I never would have thought that I would be close to that, or doing doing panels for shows that I like, things that I love growing up, right? So, like, when to see how Comic-Con has the explosion of Comic-Con, like, I think after that first Avengers film, that's when everything went straight crazy, right? Everything, the pandemonium was everywhere, and it's not just it's like a pop culture con now. It's like everything is pop. Like, if you ever come to, anyone listening to this, you ever come to San Diego, California in July, it's always towards the end of the month, and you come and you get yourself into San Diego Comic-Con, I promise you, whatever you're doing in your life, this will change your entire perspective on reality and where you need to be. And I'm not saying it just because it's in San Diego and we're talking about this Comic-Con stuff. It's a fact, bro. Like, it'll put a battery in your back. It'll make you rethink everything. I want to build that house. Now you want to build a whole community, because it's gonna make you want to do all these different things, and then it's like the center of the universe for like 5 days, right? And like you're around, it's like you're walking, it's like you're on a campus, but you see all the so and so's in the same vicinity as you, and you guys could like have a conversation, or you build new contacts and relationships and things like that with people being out, and it's fun, and I think to me it's refreshing, because for a person that gets their very first time coming, it'll change their entire outlook. It'll change your whole outlook, man. Like I love it.
It's very unifying in the sense that we were having this conversation with one of the show hosts that are here, Manny Munoz, who tends to still think in the archaic way of what a geek was, and like, oh, you're into your geek stuff, and it's like there's no such thing as a geek anymore. Right. Literally, there was a premiere of the new Bleach season. Everybody that was there is smoking hot. Like there's no such thing as that the pasty nerd any longer. Like even the homecoming queen is going to Comic-Con, and she's dressed out in whatever anime show that she watches, and she could sit there and literally quote you lines from that show. The separation between the chubby faced kid, that guy, and the supermodel girlfriend, like that's a reality now. Those two people are together, and they go to Comic-Con, and they go to and after they go to Comic-Con, they'll go to whatever local convention they got going on, and then the convention season goes from the beginning of July all the way until the fall, and then you get your first roll of big time movies that come right behind it. Everybody goes out there. Breaking Bad had panels at Comic-Con, and there's nothing sci-fi about Breaking Bad whatsoever. It's literally a cultural phenomena that unites people of all walks of life that normally wouldn't be together on the everyday, and you find community that way. It's really, really, really cool. It's crazy crowded, and it's really hard to walk through, but you start meeting people that you never thought that you would meet or even begin to become friends with.
Right. That's a fact, man. I mean, to like, you build all these wonderful connections, man. And like you don't know who knows who, right? So right. One thing, getting a badge, you have to, as long as you get yourself a badge and you get accepted into this thing, those badges are like gold, bro.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
I never really realized it, dude. I didn't even realize it myself. Like when we went the first time, and I had my press pass, and I went into the credential room, and I came out with with the badge, and I just didn't realize the crazy access that I got. I probably wouldn't be able to have that same access today, but back then you would be put into sections of tables, and you would sit at the table, and it's kind of like Radio Row, and so every show, they stop at table, going on all the way on through. First, I was just, getting just normal little interviews, hey, Carlos Beccari interview. At that point in time, I was working for Beasley Reed. And then realizing, okay, I need to snazz this up, because everybody in their freaking... I was thinking I was going to get maybe one or two. Nah, dog. Everybody, every panel that was going through had to cycle through me. I was like, oh, shoot. Okay, no, we need to dress this up quick. and literally... professionalize myself on the spot. Yeah,
100%. I mean, hell, like even with the name of the Tesseract Files, this is the Marvel year. This is big Marvel right now.
Oh, this is the Doomsday year, baby. The clock is already ticking. Bro, we got the trailer. It's like we're ready to rock now. Like the very first episode of the Tesseract Files was about the Doomsday clock. The Doomsday clock is ticking. Is this going to make or break Marvel? Because this is made specifically to fix everything that's been screwed up so far and got off the rails. Like they started off on a plan, certain things have occurred to knock them off of that plan, and so now they have to kind of bring everything back together again and solidify it. So instead of this being the culmination type of a deal like Infinity Gauntlet was for Infinity War, instead this is going to be the catapult incident that occurs that reshapes everything. So almost like their very own Crisis on Infinite Earths, or really their Secret Wars. This thing happens, and then everything that happens after this reshapes everything beyond it.
Yeah. And they're gonna, I mean, the way they're doing it too, I like the fact that I like how, like in X-Men 97, they're sprinkling everything that's going on. That would have, that would have happened in the animated series 30 years ago with all the other subsidiary Marvel cartoons that weren't really they weren't even a lot of them weren't really that associated, like the Fantastic Four
Right.
or Iron Man wasn't associated with X-Men, but some of them were associated with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was associated with X-Men.
Right.
So they did everything in a roundabout way, but then now X-Men 97, they're jam-packing everything together, and they're sprinkling stuff from the films into the cartoons. So it's like, okay, I see what y'all are doing.
That's
like
awesome.
all of the all of the quantum realm, like how Forge does the time travel, but it's like the quantum realm from Hank Pym from the films, and then they do the thing. Like, bro, there's so much stuff, man. But they have X-Men, they have the X-Men cartoons, the arrival of the X-Men, and they're doing it in a smart way with Spider-Man, how they're dropping a Jean Grey in the film, right?
Right.
And then there's two other characters they didn't talk about in the film. Then we have the Doomsday stuff coming, and then you have all the video games coming. I mean, this is a big year. This is going to be a big Comic-Con year for Marvel, and Hall H is going to be on fire on Saturday, bro. You know what I mean? Fire, like, and I'm front row and I'm front center, bro.
Dog, like that's what that getting to Hall H is really a crack of dawn thing. People who've never ever been to, say, the Indianapolis 500, that race, you got to get there at like 4 a.m. because by 5 there is literally a traffic jam of cars going all the way down about a couple of miles just to get into the race because it's that massive, it's that big. Hall H is no different. There's no such thing as I'm going to get there early. It's really, should you just spend the night and then wake up the next morning there? Because that's how long that line is going to be to get in there. And Hall H is only so big. I mean, granted, it is big, but it's still only so big, and it only packs a certain amount of people, which is why I often thought, man, this Comic-Con thing and this exclusivity deal that they kind of got going with it doesn't need to apply any longer. This should be streamed or televised. Like, this should be on air so that people who can't go to Comic-Con or just can't fit their body into the actual building of Hall H can still see this thing. Like, there's no need to make the Hall H trailer that nobody sees online later. Like, it should absolutely be the same way the E3 was, where you would have the big E3 presentation, and then they also got streamed out for people who couldn't fit their bodies into the hall to see it. The place was still sold out. The place is still jam packed. It didn't decrease anything of anything that they were debuting. If anything, it increased the fervor of it. So there's no real reason nowadays. I mean, back in the day, yes, fine. You did your Hall H presentation, and it was only exclusive to that market at that time. That doesn't have to occur any longer. There's no need for the exclusivity any longer. Like, you should totally just do it up, man. If anything, that adds more, especially since you're trying to get butts and seats in theaters nowadays, and it's that much harder to get butts and seats in theaters today. This is just an extra added element to it. Open the doors to everybody so that everybody can see it. And then it makes it that much bigger when you actually drop the actual product itself.
That's, I I agree with that. But, one of the things that, other than they want everything to be so exclusive, it's a lot of, I don't want to use the word gatekeeping. I don't want to use that, but I just did, right? They want to keep the value super high, right?
Right.
So the way it is, it's like they know that there's a bunch of thirsty people out there that want to be in this specific spot,
right? And
then they also have the people that are in the spot that they feel like they made it to the top of the hill, and they're gonna do something stupid. They're counting on someone leaking something to build up the hype even more. They know what they're doing, man.
Right.
That's why they do. Because if it's because okay, so I mean, I kind of like the fact that it's a little exclusive, because I'm one of those purists where COVID was one of those. It was an era where the world made you do stuff that you would have never thought you would be doing. example. All the fair weather people, the general population watching anime, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about like unhealthy amounts of it. Like, mind you, I've been watching this anime stuff since Vampire Hunter D, like since I think the Vampire Hunter D Project ATO,
All right.
since 1990, bro. Like that was I was exposed to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And to see the quote unquote all the cool kids and all the kids that would have made fun of you for liking this stuff, they're the ones that they make it cool now, and you're uncool if you don't like this stuff now, right?
What was your first one?
My first anime?
Yeah, what was the one that broke you in?
Oh, let me tell you. Let me put you up on game, young man. Well, my good friend, one of the first anime. Let me stop. My very first anime, technically, was Grimm's Fairy Tales on Nickelodeon.
Oh,
that was a Haim Saban and Shuki Levy, and I think Avi Arad wasn't a part of that. I don't think he was, but that was because they had their hands in everything. So Haim Saban, Ted Turner. First of all, Ted Turner is the man. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but like, Grimm's Fairy Tale is technically my first anime I've ever watched, and without knowing what it was. But to answer the question, my very first anime that I fell in love with, bro, was Vampire Hunter D. Now,
okay,
I had
the original
no
movie.
idea. Yes, sir. I can ad-lib that movie. I can watch it any time of day. It never gets old. The music, like just even from the terrible the rendering to like the 2-track music, like.
Right.
It's just the act. First of all, that Ocean Dub, that group Ocean Dub, who I think it's Ocean Dub, because a lot of the Ocean Dub they sound like Ocean Dub. Well, one of the people that was a part of Ocean Dub is one of the guys who, God bless the dead, one of the people who trained me in VO.
Wow.
And I had and it all makes sense because it's Haim Saban, it's Bandai, it's all these people that were in association Power Rangers. Why not this person who trained me, one of the people who trained me in doing VO? Well, Vampire Hunter D is my favorite anime of all time. Right behind it is this one it's very weird. It's an obscure, it's called Project ATO. There's so many different versions of Project ATO.
Right. But
the Project ATO, the first two, I love them. And she's basically the daughter. It's in Japan, like in an Elseworld when America wasn't so concerned with licensing and all that stuff back when they didn't know what anime was, she's the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman. But they do it in a roundabout way. And she's super powerful. And it's like the Japanese schoolgirl robots and fighting. It's pretty dope. It's like a really good anime. I love the music. And it's super 80s. It's like super 80s, like hyper pop. It's super hyper pop 80s, like it's super dope, man. It's definitely in my top. Like if I had a top 5, those two would be in my top 5.
Oh wow,
yeah, okay. Man, yeah. Because I didn't go like it's. I mean, technically I could have said Macross or Voltron and all that stuff. Nah, because when those shows came on, I didn't watch them when I was a kid. I was like, I don't want to watch that.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
No, I started being that I'm older than you, I started very, very much earlier. So my first is Speed Racer. That would be like the first thing that I saw. And then obviously Captain Harlock after that, Star Blazers, Robotech. And so, yeah, those early ones. I didn't, my first of the films was probably Fist of the North Star. Probably the first one that I saw. And then after not having it around, because the problem back then was it didn't travel over to the U.S. as easily, and so you didn't get to see it on the norm. Sometimes you would catch it on what do you call it? Syndicated television. They would show it, but you didn't really have like a channel that exclusively showed stuff until Cartoon Network came out, and it was
no. Now see, now I was waiting for you to say that. I'm sorry for jumping on you.
Something before Cartoon Network. I mean, MTV showed us some stuff, but not really.
No. Let me tell you. Nah, dude. So this is the conversation I have a lot with a lot of people and like friends and stuff. Everyone talks about Toonami and Cartoon Network being the first to like debut anime on a consistent basis, right?
Well, at least showing it on the regular, where you could
right.
You could go. In other words, you didn't have to kind of search for it, or it didn't have to like kind of come up, because you normally cartoons, especially like as I was growing up, you have your Saturday mornings. That was that was your big exclusive day, and then every day after school, your afternoon cartoons. That's where you got your He-Mans and your Transformers and G.I. Joes. Like that would play there. You would get anime early morning weekdays. So before I went to school, early morning is where I would see in a row, Speed Racer, Star Blazers, Robotech. They would all play one after the other, and you would get a block of about maybe a couple of hours of animated series. And when one ended, they would go to, like, sometimes they would give you like a niche one that would fit in there, so you would get Cyborg 009 or
oh my god, one of the ending, the American ending, the name of the group, the band is called Globe, and they have this what's the name of the song, Genesis of Next.
Okay.
The ending. Look, when you get a chance, look that song up. It's really, and that's when I realized I like that kind of music. But the band is called Globe, and the song is called Genesis of Next, and it was a Cyborg 009, the ending theme for their show, and that's what made me watch. Yeah, bro. So you're right about the early morning stuff, because I remember. Okay, so the very
early
first
morning
time
syndicated television, by the way, for kids who don't understand what we're talking about. So back in the day, before there was actual cable television, your regular TV was 3 major networks and then a whole bunch of other independent stations that played syndicated television, which is just bought shows. So old shows that played in the 70s, shows that weren't big enough to make it onto a network. I want to say one of the first big major shows that didn't make it onto a network that made it onto syndication is Star Trek: The Next Generation. Like that, it started off in syndication, and so you would get early morning. They needed programming. Yeah. They needed stuff to put on. They didn't have morning shows really, and they didn't have news. They didn't have their own news networks either. So they would play, either oddball TV shows from back in the day, your I Love Lucy's and stuff like that. But very early morning, because kids are waking up and they're going to school, they would have 2 hours of kids' cartoons leading into what would eventually be, the regular Beverly Hillbillies and stuff that came from back in the day. Yeah, Andy Griffith, all the old shows that would lead you up to about 12 o'clock. Then 12 o'clock, they would have like an old school movie, and then lead on until you got to the afternoon. In the afternoon, they would show a bunch of the throwback shows that were a little bit more mature, and then you would also get your adventure shows, so your Starsky and Hutches and stuff like that. That would come on during that time. And then late nights, you would get movies that you shouldn't be able to see on television, but I totally saw as I was a kid. Like I used to do film club on Clubhouse with Justine Bateman, and Bateman brought out Zardoz as a film for all of us to see. And I had admitted, back in the day of syndicated television, I saw this movie when I was 8 years old. This is the movie that I shouldn't be watching when I was 8, but I could tell everybody who saw that movie the next day, because we were all quoting the crap out of it in school. And people were like, how did you see Zardoz? It was on Channel 39 last night. I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember this. Okay, this is when I started. I feel like this is around the time when I felt like I was getting smart, right?
Okay.
So I would go visit my grandma, and I have 2 grandmas, one in Tampa and one in Daytona Beach. So I would go visit either one of the grandmas, and this was like a thing that I would do. And this is when I started realizing that the world is like, there's a subworld underneath our world, bro. A subworld. Now, I go to my grandma's house. My mom dropped me off. My mother would drop my brothers and I off at my grandma Rita in Daytona Beach, right? And we'll get there like super dumb early while she would leave to go do her hair, because my mother's a hairdresser. She would travel and all that stuff, right? And The first thing I did was turn on the TV, and I remember turning the television on, Samurai Pizza Cats, Dragon Ball, Eagle Riders that were supposed to be G-Force or Gatchaman or Battle of the Planet. I'm like, hold up. So every time I made sure I checked the time. I'm like, all right, this came on at this time. I'm gonna wake up and see something else.
You
and
just
I would
blew
go
my
to her
doors
TV.
with Samurai Pizza Cats. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I just listen. Shout out to Saban and Ocean Dub again. We're here, right? Ronin Warriors, bro, or Samurai Troopers, right?
Yes.
Okay, now check it out. So I take the TV guide. Grandma, could I use your TV guide? Yeah, I take her TV guide, go through the TV guide, take a highlighter. This is the time we got here. This is the time we wake up. I check the times for each every weekend. I'm like, okay, this is gonna come on. This is gonna come on. So every time I watch the show, I get a VHS. I would record it. Then I would freeze frame, copy the names. Who's written? Okay, created by. Okay, Saban. Okay, this. Okay, boom. Take all the names down. Then the regular cartoons would come on. So I would I'm explaining this to my brother, and my little brother's not understanding what I'm talking about. So then again, the following summer comes around, right? This is when Turner Broadcasting was killing everything. So remember when you would say certain animes would come on certain television, on certain networks, right?
Right.
Well, Turner Broadcasting is the reason for why we have so much anime. So TNT, TBS, USA Network, the Sci-Fi Channel, the Weather Channel. Those 5 channels would show like Johnny Quest, the new Johnny Quest, the modern Johnny Quest, and then on the Weather Channel, there was a split screen where the screen was split from the weather, and then it would be Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network wasn't the thing yet. This is 1993, and Cartoon Network was just like a little. I think it was like a blip experiment. I don't know what the deal was, and you would see all these cartoons. So you see, he buy the entire Hanna-Barbera catalog. Throw the Cartoon Network cartoons on, and every now and again you'll see a random anime, and it was always the same ones. It was Vampire Hunter D,
right?
It was Robot Carnival. It will probably be Wicked City, and there was another one. I think it was Crying Freeman or something. And then you see these same, and then you see it again on TBS, on TNT, on USA Network, on the Sci-Fi Channel, and the Sci-Fi Channel had the Friday night anime block. They would show random anime that you knew. I'm like, what is this? What is this?
That's where they debuted. If I remember right, they debuted Blood, the Last Vampire. There. That was the first. That was the first place in the United States that you could see it. Was there because they did a whole not a docuseries, but like a documentary on animes and how they were like booming, how they were coming out. So they they showed you Akira, and then they showed you Ghost in the Shell, and the ones that were coming out, the new ones that were coming out that hadn't blown up yet, and that was one of the first ones was Blood, the Last Vampire, and then you finally got to see it there on that on that showing. Yeah, they debuted a bunch of stuff that you never would have seen unless you were a comic book collector and you were at a comic book store who stocked it. There was a guy that I knew, Superheroes Comics down here, where I could get the Dragon Ball Z videos before they were finally released in the U.S. because we would get it like about a year or so later. We he was actually putting them out on time, and so I was able to like keep up with the series right when the Majin Buu saga. That was like a big deal. Everybody would go flying over to superheroes. Like, did you get it? Did you get it? And you would get I literally had like an entire, massive VHS collection of all Dragon Ball Z stuff because you couldn't see it on the Norm until, 2 seasons later.
So I went to Killian High School in Miami in Kendall, right?
Oh, okay.
And so throughout junior high, I went to Richmond Heights Middle School. So I grew up in Perrine and that whole area, right?
Right.
So bro, shout out to my boy Albert, a friend of mine. He and I, we were into like Street Fighter, Alpha, Cap. Like when PlayStation dropped, that was our thing. The Sega Saturn dropped, that was our thing, right? And we would go to Flippers over in Town and Country. Remember? Yeah, man. You see, okay then. So you from okay then, yeah. So my dad would drop us off at Flippers. My dad would give me $40. He goes, "Don't blow it and don't call me." Yeah, that's funny. So I would always ration out because when Street Fighter Alpha 2 came out, I was in Flippers religiously. Like,
oh, you're playing for quarters. Games. People who don't remember, you would line your quarters up right on the top screen. Yep. And like, let's go, we're going.
I'm up next, bro. So we're playing all these, but mind you, like, so my friend Albert he was like, "Bro, you like anime?" I was like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "Oh, me too." And we're getting into all the Japanese stuff or whatever. So then we find this spot. I forget the name of the place. Oh, no, I'm lying. It was so EB, when GameStop, that's EB Games, prior was called Electronics Boutique.
Right.
There was one in Dadeland Mall, bro. When Dadeland Mall had Electronics Boutique, they used to have things that you never seen. There was this particular game, this one EB Games in Dadeland. My dad was like, "Why do you always want to go to Dadeland?" I said, "Because they have stuff that I like." Bro, the imports, the Japanese imports, the game. The Dragon Ball Final Bout, Ultimate Battle 22, Dragon Ball Z Legends. Like, I used to get all the games, the 4 meg RAM card for the Sega Saturn, like all the imports. But I used to just buy the imports from there. And that's when I started realizing that what I was into, I really love this stuff. So I remember in high school, I had this biology teacher. Her name was Miss Davis. Very, very sweet lady, man. Really smart. She used to nurture our interests. It was more like, it wasn't even biology at this point. It was more like she was like a therapist, bro. Because she used to say, "What do you guys like? What are you into?" And we never really did anything sciencey or anything related to science in that class. And she said, "I want you guys to do me a favor and do a project. And what do you think the world's going to be in 10 years?" Now, wow. I was at Killian High School. I was at Killian in 97, right?
Right.
Bro, I went to art school, right? I drew a Sakura and a Chun-Li on a poster board. And I it took me maybe like a whole week to draw and color and everything because of school and everything. And I had basketball. And my dad was supporting my art. He used to always buy me the Prisma colored pencil. He bought me all kinds of cool things for like art. And I did that. I worked on that thing for like a week, and then I turned it in, and I had the report attached to it. And my teacher was like, "Yo, so explain to me what this." She goes, "First of all, this is really nice, and explain to me what this is." And my report said, mind you, this is 1997, bro. In the next 10 years, I feel like the world is going to media. We're gonna shift more into a lot of Japanese programming. In Japanese anime, in Japanese games. And I also think we're going to get closer into comic book films. And like, I was really talking like this, bro, like for real. And she was like, "This is crazy. How about that same year?" And this is the year that they announced the Mercedes SUV in the Source magazine.
Yeah.
Source magazine, it was Bahamadia and Jeru the Damager or something like that. And there was like some new piece of, man. You see, dude. And in the article, I wish I knew which book it was, man. They talked about anime becoming a very popular piece of media in the near future. And I just wrote about that. And the reason why I said that is because all the kids the kids that were into what I was into, American Idol was like the big thing, right? That was like the big explosion. American Idol blew up. I was into like freestyling and battling. DMX had just come out. Lord Tariq and Peter Guns dropped. DJ Clue had the mixtape.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. You see what? Yeah, like, bro, Big Pun, Capital Punishment, Cameron Noriega. Like, all these things are coming out, and then we're talking about Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah.
So everybody was on, yes, and no one knew what Dragon Ball GT was. We were like, well, it's a different type of Dragon Ball, but it's not the Dragon Ball that we watch. But it's not. It's crazy.
Well, because of the video game, because the video game was coming out, and they needed to promote the video game, and so they made GT.
Right. So the video game, no one knew. So you could only get the video game at Blockbuster at the time. And I remember I rented the game and never turned, and I never brought it back. Boy, I was in trouble. Oh, boy, I was in trouble. But yeah, man. I mean, we talked about these shows that we all liked in high school. Like, yo, this is crazy anime. I love this. I love that. And then we talked about how it's gonna change like the face of media forever someday. And then fast forward 1999, 98, 98, 99, we get Toonami, right?
Right.
And anime is Dragon Ball is like the Dragon Ball Z, the greatest action anime of all time. Like that was the whole thing. That was their thing, right? And it was one of the greatest animes of all time. And then on top of that, then we started getting more anime. We got the Yu Yu Hakusho's. We got the Gundam Wings. We got all these anime that we thought were brand new. They were old. They were already in existence, right? That was 20. So 97, 98, 99. That's 3 or 4 years later, right? 20 years later, the explosion of anime now is out of control, bro.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Like and to see where pop culture, it's like we used to get ridiculed and written by our parents for doing childish things. Now people are making millions of dollars doing childish things.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going? You see what you know what I mean? Like you see parents investing thousands of dollars in buying kids their streaming equipment just so they can play.
Yeah.
To make millions of dollars. Like that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at.
No, it's crazy.
It's insane.
You spoke of your way in.
So some Ocean Dubs, right? So
yes.
So I started doing VO. I've always had a thing for impersonations and doing voices and hey, what you got going on over there? Like just emulating Keith David, his Goliath, Elisa, top of the castle, Xanatos, your mind.
Oh my God, one of the single most underrated freaking animated series ever. Like I don't understand how it's not as classic as it should be because the story arcs that they were whipping out. There's a group of people who do reaction shows on YouTube, and they reacted. I forgot what animated series they were watching. I think it was Avatar, where they kept saying this is not a kid show. Like that. Gargoyles is not a kid show, but it was a kid show. Like it was what you were watching every day after school, and the storylines that they were going through for those 3 seasons were nuts. The arcs that continued to tie in to the next arc that moved over. Just the writing on that show was immaculate.
I totally agree. Just the complicated relationship between Goliath and Elisa, like that was really crazy, right? I mean, the comic book. There's a continuation story. So there's a kid. I think they have a child. He's like a halfling.
Well, the comic book series circumvents the last season. So you could do away with the last season because that was stupid. They were just making it so that it would be on Saturday morning cartoons, and they totally just took the fangs out of it, and it was hokey. Cut off the very last season, which I think is only like 8 episodes or whatever, and you could attach the comic book there because it does away with the travesty that they were trying to put out at that point.
They should just go ahead and we need a new one. Just bring it back.
Yes. And this needs to get rebooted now. Yes.
And the way and also the way that they're doing, like how they did X-Men and how they did X-Men 97 and how they did the Power Rangers Once and Always, just allow it to grow up with the kids that watched it 30 years ago. So allow the show back in the day when we were younger, when we were children, it was for us. But now that we are adults with our own lives and families and careers and things going on, make it specifically for us. So let's expound on the real relationship between Goliath and Elisa, or Cold Stone, or Xanatos, and like what this really meant. You know what I mean? If they did that, it'll be the next. I'm telling you, if they did a Gargoyles, it'll be the next thing. If they did it right, you know what I mean?
That's a franchise waiting to happen right there.
No, definitely. But to answer the question, so I got into the VO space. Shout out to one of my mentors, Jason Marsden, who was like super duper decorated, and his credit list is ridiculous.
Through the roof, man.
He's what Max. He's known. That's his name, like Max Goof from Goofy Movie. Like he's like him. And Scott Page Pactor. Scott Page Pactor is, he was one of the people who taught me and trained my how to properly use my voice and voice acting and things like that. I mean, he's responsible for Ronin Warriors. He's responsible for Power Rangers, Sailor Moon, a lot of the Mattel stuff, like Hot Wheels. Like I did so many commercials with this guy, man. Like, and it was so fun. And the person that introduced me to him is, Walter Emmanuel Jones, the original Black Ranger. He's like, hey man, I know somebody that can, blah blah blah. And then I was like, okay. And then I get an email, and then I get an invite, and then next thing you know, I'm working. It's that's just how it goes, But being in the space and being a part of, like, something that made us happy for years is just such it's a real joy for me, man. And then to be I'm working on a show. There's a short out now. I'm working on a project. There's a short out now. It's called The Hollow Healer. It stars Christopher Judge, who's Kratos in the God of War series,
right?
His son Christopher Judge Jr. and myself, and it's a part of a series called The Seven Galaxies, and it's 7 different stories. And that's one of the themes that we're going to be at during Comic-Con. But we did the premiere for it in LA like a few months back, and the response, man, I'll send you some of the footage, and I'll send you the actual project too. But the response, bro, was just beautiful. And I literally, like, I couldn't hold myself together because a lot of my heroes came to that for me, man.
Oh,
like I'm no, like
that's a crusher right there, yeah,
bro. Like I came in with my girl. She and I came together. I had 2 friends with me, and all I did was send out an email, a bunch of text messages, and made some phone calls, left messages, and let everybody know, hey, my very first official premiere, Hollow Healer, starring alongside Chris Judge Jr., Lilac Grove, Tongo Animation. Like, it's beautiful, man. So, like, I get there, and the first person I see was Ron Wasserman. So Ron Wasserman is the composer. I'm getting choked up now talking about it. Ron Wasserman is the composer for Go-Go Power Rangers, Sailor Moon, X-Men animated series, freaking Samurai Pizza Cats, Mummies, a lot. I mean, his list is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
And we've collabed since. Okay, so
nice.
I met him in Orlando at a Ranger convention, and his booth was behind mine. And I heard him talking, and I'm like, I know that voice. So I get up, and I walked, and I seen him, and I hugged him. I'm like, oh my God, bro, do you know? And he's like, what? I go, no. And I'm like, I'm running. I'm giving him the rundown of, like, all the works that he's done and he's worked on that I'm a fan. I pulled my phone out. And I go, look, this is my archive. Look, of all your stuff. And he's like, what the? And we just kind of, like, we hit it off. And we anyways, he came to the premiere, and then I see my boy Chris J. Alex. Like, Chris J. Alex is a decorated actor and voice actor. I mean, he put one of my songs in his films, like, and he's working on a series right now. I'm actually going to be in the series. I'm one of the characters in the series, just like a recurring thing, and like it's my first live action, like, thing, and it's crazy. And then you see Walter Jones, and then I see some of the guys from The Simpsons, and then there's Jenny Stiven, and then JP Powell. Like, you see all these, like, I can't, the freaky, all the guys from Freaky Tales, my boy Laquan. Like, you see all the people that you liked as a kid, and they're coming to watch you, and they're rooting for you. Like, bro, like, that's crazy. Like, to me, that's just what that's what it was all about. And it's worth it. And it makes you think to yourself, like, okay, yeah, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, even shout out to Billy Blue. Like, even with Billy, like, I've been a fan of Billy since, wow, bro. Like, I think I moved out to California, I think 2000 or something like that. I think he had this one song, and I had that song. That song's been in my playlist for years. I think it's been in my playlist for about 15 years. And I remember one time I hit him up, and we started talking, and then we had a dope connection. And I came home and came out to Florida, and then I came out and hung out with them, chopped it up, and then we built a bond. Like, he and I are really tight, bro. And he's good people, and I appreciate that kind of stuff, but to just be able to be in this place, in this space, and to make music and to get into the acting and to do voiceovers and voice act and to meet some of the people that inspired you means everything. Even the creators of X-Men, like the Lee Walls, like Eric and Julia, like they're always nice and sweet to me, man. They give me everything. Like it's just really fun, man. And I don't take any of this stuff for granted in at all, you know. Even talking to you, man, this is great. You know, this is a wonderful start to my Comic-Con week. Like this is the first thing that I'm doing for the week of Comic-Con, bro. Like, and tonight is going to be one of those nights, bro.
So break down to everybody what it is that you're doing tonight, because actually break down your comic book experience that's going to be happening starting today and going on through.
All right. So the first thing, today is Wednesday, right? So today is technically it's the preview night for Con.
Right.
Tomorrow is opening day, but tonight we have the biggest party in San Diego. It's going to be at Park Nightclub, PARQ. It's on 6th Avenue, downtown San Diego. It is powered by a company called XLE, and the theme is Ready Player One, but it's called Ready Party One, and basically it's the Oasis. If you've watched the film, I'm gonna have celebrity guests, celebrity performers. I'm performing, wonderful hosts. The Flux Capacitors is like the official Back to the Future band. Those guys are super talented, man. Super talented. And everybody's gonna be there. Like everybody. Like, I mean, we've won awards. Well, they've won awards for years. I've just recently become a part of them, part of the festivities. This is my second year with them.
Cool.
But there's been multiple awards won with this event. And then after that, the next day, it's the first day of Comic-Con, and you know we're out and about. Friday we have panels. We have our media room, media suite, the media area. I'm doing panels on Saturday for X-Men. There's a panel for Transformers, and there's another one. I'm not too sure what it is just yet, but I'll get the information from
Transformers animated or Transformers live action.
No, it's it's an animated. All the people that was involved in all the different animated Transformers over time, including the new one, Earthspark, with my boy Eric Bauza. He's on that show. Oh my gosh, I can't even think right now. I'm blanking. Zeno and Benny, like they're gonna be there. But it's just it's very surreal at this moment right now, bro.
Right.
Like it's extremely surreal, man. You know, and it's just because we're real fans of this stuff, man. Like, so like to be able to like be in the world of the stuff that made you happy, bro. Like it's like a completely different feeling, you know. Like the feeling is different. And a lot of times I have to calm myself down because my composure level is crazy sometimes, bro. Yeah, man. And I don't fan out. I fan out for certain people.
True. I've stated it multiple occasions. I don't fan out for many people at all. But if the day that I get Bill Sienkiewicz on this show, that's my fangirl moment right there. Because that's the guy. That's the guy that, you know, growing up, New Mutants being my first comic book series that I collected. He when he took over the series, that was just a 180 turn. That completely put comics on its ear. That dude's artwork was insane, and nothing looked like that before him. And there are quite a few who've tried to kind of emulate his style afterwards, but it's just not. It's not. It's like you're trying to be Eddie Van Halen. Like like there's a bunch of people who can go out there and finger tap, but you're not doing it the way that he does it. And so he's that one OG guy that if I get that guy on, that's my hero moment right there. Like there's very few people I'll fangirl over. Sienkiewicz is one of those guys.
That's what's up, man. I mean, just to see certain folks that make you like, dang. I remember the first My very first fan crazy was when Jason David Frank, man.
Oh,
The Green
okay.
Ranger, man. And he knew who I was, which was really crazy. Like he goes, "Hey man, you're Candy." I was like, "Huh?" Yo, what the? Yeah. Hey, get up here, man. Get over here. And he was cool, man. He was super.
He
into
was
hip
the
hop.
nicest dude, man. The very first SuperCon that was down here, Miami SuperCon, it was at the airport Hilton, and I took my nephew and we both went, and he spotted him long before me. There was I've said this story a few times. There was a line for Sulu that was crazy. George Takei had this monstrous line in front. It went crisscrossing in front of him, around the corner, another crisscross, out the door. I don't know what the Sulu love came from. I mean, granted, he was doing Heroes at that same time. That was like when he broke out as the dad in Heroes. But still, man, my man had a line that was crazy. And then right next to him was Josh Lucas, the son of George Lucas, and nobody was sitting in front of him. And I felt so bad for him. And then next to him was the actress who played Colonel Deering. That's who caught my eye because I grew up on Colonel Deering. I was like, oh, and I went immediately to that spot. She's sitting next to the lady who played Andrea on Walking Dead. And then to the left of them was a line that wasn't as big as Sulu's, but it was still quite large. And it was the Green Ranger. It went down the line, and we were like looking at it. Oh my nephew, the second that he saw it, immediately he jumped into that line while I stayed there and talked to Colonel Deering for like a half an hour until he got up to the point of the line where I could like join him. And then we talked to that dude for like 30 minutes, man. He was the nicest individual you could. He totally understood his fame, totally understood what he was to kids. And those kids are now grown up and made every single kid feel like he was, the center of the universe when he talked to him. He was he was just the sweetest individual, man. That was tragic.
Man, I know, man. I don't know, man. I just I dream, I hope and pray to be the way you describe these folks, to be like that to someone else, because these are the folks that inspired us to be where we're at right now. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter how you did it. Like, even we talk about, Power Rangers, like, oh, you like Power Rangers? Yeah, I do. I love it. I've loved it since I was a little boy. Like, Power Rangers gave you the confidence to go out and go do the scary stuff. It really did. And then you have a person on the show that you resonate with that makes you feel like, oh, I could do that too, and then it just kind of stuck with me forever. So it's how it is, man. But being here,
what did you think of the Power Rangers movie?
Which you mean the 2017 reboot?
Yeah.
So RJ Kyler, shout out to RJ. RJ, that's the homie. He's a Florida boy, gang. Those suits,
right?
I'm not a fan of the suits.
Okay.
The Goldar, the monster, no.
Mm-hmm.
Rita, I was digging Rita. I liked how they did Rita, how they made her. She was and it makes sense. Like it would have made sense in the show. Like she was a Power Ranger, and all of that. Like that was cool. It had potential, and I think they tried so hard to be different from everything else that they basically copied what they were trying not to be.
Yeah.
Wow, what a different coat of paint, and it didn't.
That's what I felt was the mistake. For people who don't totally remember, that movie got made well after the short film that came out that was made by
Eddie. That's Eddie. The homie.
Right,
That's
yeah.
Eddie's playing card. So,
and that's what started the craze back in the first place. Like that ignited the fire that would eventually lead to what that reboot movie was. But everybody wanted that. Everybody wanted that short film. They wanted that on screen. You could have given everybody that, but instead you were going to reboot it from scratch. And you're like, okay, fine. You're going to retell the story. As long as you're still staying along that kind of motif, we're cool. it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't terrible, but it also wasn't that. There's no. I don't.
It could have been greater than what it was.
I can watch the '95 movie all day, every day.
Yeah,
I can watch that all day. Even like I can watch it all day, every day. Like it's so crazy, right? I've even worked on the 30th anniversary, the short for the 30th anniversary Power Rangers the movie short. I did the music, compositions in there with some. I'll send it to you, and even the OGs were like, why don't we have this? Or how can we not? Why? Like even Johnny Bosch, shout out to Johnny Young Bosch. Johnny Bosch he said, bro, why don't we let's talk? Could we figure this out? I'm like, let's do it. How can we figure this out? Like, and I'm gonna send it to you also. Yeah, bro. The short, the Eddie Shankar bootleg Power Rangers short that came out. The guy that played Zach Geechee Gamba, that's one of the guys in Hollywood who helped me with a lot of the stuff that I have going on now.
Nice.
And he's a wonderful actor, and that guy he's a phenomenal actor. I remember that same Power Rangers convention that I went to in 23. I reached out to him. I called him. I'm like, hey, you want to do a Power Rangers convention? He was like, nah, man. I said, why? He said, that ain't really my thing. I was like, no, but you have to understand you are part of the universe now because you played Zach. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, if I book you and Chris to come to this thing with me, you'll be a wild card, and I promise you'll clean up. He's like, nah, man, people don't want to see. I said, I said, listen, you and Chris are on a magnitude of shows and films. Yeah, y'all look good on camera, fired. That's what's up. But you come to this Rangers convention and they see Eddie Shankar, one of the you and James Vanderbeek. If y'all come, watch what happened. Try to reach out to Vanderbeek. I think Vanderbeek was, good. I mean, obviously we know this,
Yeah. Ultimately.
And yeah. That didn't happen, but Geechee came, right? So Geechee comes. I get him a banner made. I say, just sit at my table, and then I'll go out. We'll figure this stuff out. So we get to Orlando Wednesday. The convention started on Thursday. I said Friday set up. I got to go to Miami. I got to go down to Miami, go do some stuff, but I'll come right back up after I'm done. This man calls me, bro. I go, what's up? He goes, look at this line. I said, just put my 10% in my damn Zelle, bro. That's all you got. Like, I was just scared. He's like, I got you. I said, no, I'm just joking. You good, man. That's it. But the point is, I told him, I said, you're sitting on gold. I go, that Power Ranger stuff, they want more. They want more.
There are franchise retirement plans. Star Trek would obviously be the top one. Like if you've even done 2 episodes of Star Trek anything, you can convention yourself till the day you die. But 100%. Yeah, Power Rangers would be another one of those, especially for kids stuff like that. Automatic. If you were on that show or you did anything significant for more than like an episode or 2, you're in. You're in. Like people remember you.
Even the new one that's come, the Disney Plus reboot that's coming out.
Ooh, how psyched are you for that?
I know things, and I'll talk to you off. I'll talk to you off there. I know things.
So your Hall H day, which is the big Saturday.
Saturday.
I'm assuming you got to get there crazy early, just to avoid having to get into any kind of line conflicts with all. So I'm assuming you're going to have to hunker down in there backstage or for, the majority of the day. So your day starts this o'clock. Your day will end at what o'clock?
On Saturday?
Yeah.
After Hall H, I'm done. After Hall H,
Hall H starts what time for you? Like what time do you have to start your day for Hall H?
Early. You got to get there early in the morning. Like you got to, because people are going to be camped out. But I don't have to do that. I wasn't trying to flex a little bit. I'm just going to say.
Oh no, you're backstage, yeah, man. That's a when I did the junkets and I had to do Hall H, I absolutely had to get there at about like 6 or 7 just to get back there because I knew trying to work my way in there afterwards would just be a pain in the rear end. And granted, I have access, so I can, circumvent everything to get through there, but I would still have to go through all that. So it's just easier that you just stay back there.
No, it is. It is. I mean, even when they did the announcement for a couple years back for Robert Downey, and I went with a friend that's at Marvel. He's like, "Hey, so we're gonna go do this, and then after we do this, we're gonna go do that." And I'm like, "Okay." So we get in the thing, and I'm realizing I'm in Hall H. I'm like, "Hey, bro, we're in Hall H." He goes, "Yeah, yeah." I go, "What about this line?" He was like, "What line?" And then he grabs my wrist. He goes, "Hey, let's go, bro." Cut hundreds of people, bro. Just walk past them like nothing, dog. And we sat down, and then we go in this little area, and I was like, "Is that hard?" I said, "Is that RDJ?" He goes, "Yeah, but shut up though. No one knows." I was like, because he had the hoodie on and the mask, and I'm like, "Is that RDJ?" Oh my god. He's like, "Yeah, but be quiet, bro." I was like, "Cool." He comes out, takes the mask off, he makes the reveal. Everybody goes crazy. I'm like, wow. And then after that, we go to the there was like this Marvel party.
Right.
And that's where I met Feige and all those guys.
Nice.
I went there with the X-Men 97 cast. It was a good time. It was so much fun. Giancarlo Espinosa, I'm in the bathroom and he's in the bathroom and I'm trying not to look at him because we're in the bathroom, bro. Like, that's a big pause, bro. I'm like, that looks like that is him. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get done. I'm gonna wash my hands, dry my hands off, walked out. He comes out. "What's up, bro?" I said, "Huh?" "I saw you over there looking at me." I was like, I was trying not to. And he was like, "Nah, it's cool, bro. I get it, man." I said, "Yeah, man." And my boy Mike was calling. And then I hung up on Mike. He goes, "Yeah, fuck Mike. Take this picture, bro." Oh my god. Yeah, he goes, "What do you?" He goes, "What's your name?" I said, "My name is Kehinde Martin." He was like, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm just hanging out." He goes, "Nah, you gotta. They don't just let anybody up in here, bro.
Right?
You gotta be." He's like, "You somebody." I was like, "So what do you do?" I said, "Music. I'm a voice actor. Right. Me. You know, and he's just like, "Nah, man."
Stand up with some pride, damn it.
Yeah, but it's crazy because when he started talking, I'm like, this is his personality in
yes,
because he's such a phenomenal actor. And he's always poised, like I always feel like, is he from England? I know he's like Italian, like he's like Italian.
No, bro, that dude's from the hood, man. He's the same as we are. That guy.
No, I'm just saying, like he just got how he carries himself.
Yeah,
like, you know. But then come on, man, let's take this damn picture. Like, he took the picture, and I'm like, that's what's up. He goes, "All right, man, I'm gonna see your ass around, bro. For real. See you at the top." And then he just walked off. I'm like, what the? But it was a dope ass party, bro. The party was so fire, man. The food was good, and it was such a good time, dude. Like, and I'm telling you, like, and I said, this is my public, bro. And it's crazy because I met all the writers for like a lot of the X-Men TV show, the animated stuff. A lot of the guys from the movies and the films. The Mandarin was in there, like the actor, the guy who plays the Mandarin.
Yeah.
He was in there. Like, I was like, yo, that is so sick, man. And it's just cool, like, just to see, you know, all of what's, you know, and even, you know, Kevin Feige, like, looking at Feige, right? That's basically, I kind of feel, this is kind of a weird comparison, but I feel like I'm him because a long time ago, he was a small fry working on the what's his name, Bryan Singer, on all the X-Men films.
Yeah.
Now he's, you know what I'm saying? Now he's like, now he's the guy. Like, that's wonderful, man. That's
I call
crazy.
him the great fixer, the guy who's taking all the things that I found to be wrong back in those older films, and he corrects it. That Spider-Man movie where he took all of the spider villains from those past movies and made them correct. Like, he cleaned up all the like, that's the Green Goblin. That's Electro. That's how those characters should actually be. And it was such a not only a breath of fresh air, but it was just such a 180 as to what they were. They were kind of hokey and corny back in the day, and you're like, no, those are not hokey, corny characters. Those guys are lethal. And when you show them in their actual skin, then you get the real, oh crap, okay, this is why this guy is the bad guy that he is. in the original Spider-Man movie, you know, it's cool to have Willem Dafoe, and he does a really cool voice, and he has, you know, some of those little cool moments in the movie, but that's really not the Green Goblin. Homeboy whipped it out when in that last film, especially when he makes the turn. The second that he makes the turn and he knocks him through those floors and he starts being the actual Green Goblin, that was it. That was it. Like at every turn, Feige seems to have, for the most part, it's not 100% perfect, but for the most part, every character that is cool on the page has even more depth and even a better delivery on screen. It's just, if you take the character and you put him on screen and you do the one thing that was done with Superman all those years ago, you took the time to make it seriously. You took it seriously. You took the source material seriously, and you tried to make a real, actual adaptation of what's on the page, on the screen. You are going to get quality filmmaking. And each one of them at each turn, like this, you know, you could make Batman as corny and cheesy as possible, as they did in the 80s, but then you get a guy like Nolan, and he takes it seriously, and it becomes an even bigger phenomenon than it was when it broke out in the 80s. Feige's made a pretty darn good career of taking those characters the way that they're supposed to be on the page and putting them on screen, and even giving them more depth. He's successfully, for the most part, been able to, you know, make that crossover with those characters. Granted, these last few years, there's been an over-bloating of the studio in and of itself, and he can't oversee everything the way that he did before, and you're starting to see cracks in that seam. But that's what gives me the confidence, at the very least, of what Doomsday could be. Because if it's the Russos and he, and the both of them are both just strictly concentrating on this thing, I expect quality. I expect quality from them, because they've delivered every time. They themselves, like, when those guys get together and they're just concentrating on this one thing, that one thing soars. So I see all the characters there. I'm very curious as to where they're going to go with it. It's an ambitious move, to say the least. And if there's somebody who you would want to see take on that ambition, it's those three guys. Those three guys have, you know, knocked it out of the ballpark each time they've tried it.
I just hope we don't get another No Way Home, because remember when we first saw No Way Home and we saw Maguire and we saw Garfield and Holland all together, right? That was a moment. Oh my God! Everybody's freaking out, right? But then when you go back and watch the movie, you're like, oh. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, dead ass. Like, if you think about it, you're like, oh. Man.
I mean,
the movie was fire.
The movie was fire, and their involvement in it. Yeah, I mean, you made the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man even cool, because Tobey Maguire. The problems with Spider-Man in the past was that Tobey Maguire is Peter Parker. He's not Spider-Man. Like, he's just a very mid Spider-Man. And then Garfield is a perfect Spider-Man, but he's way too hot of a guy to be high school Peter Parker. He needed to be he needed to be man Parker. That guy was way too cool to be high school Parker. He needed to be Daily Bugle man Parker, and he's the perfect Spider-Man. He's the perfect Spider-Man. She was great as Gwen Stacy. Was, you know, he was just hampered by bad representation of the villain. Like, the villains were just not utilized correctly. Then here on No Way Home, now you got the villains working correctly. Now you had the Spider-Mans working. Like, everything about that movie was, we fixed everything that was wrong in those past films in one film. In one film, they were able to do that. So the new Spider-Man movie, I am all psyched for. I think it's gonna be great, because they haven't fumbled theirs. They've made the perfect Spider-Man. They made the perfect Peter Parker, perfect Spider-Man. That's Peter Parker as a kid. That's Spider-Man when he was a kid. Now they're trying to make him into man Parker, and that's going to be interesting to see where they go with that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think they're going to do a really good job. I think if Sony and Disney, Marvel really work together to find a way to bring the Spider-Verse onto live action proper, I think they would have something, because those Spider-Verse movies are good. You know what I mean?
Those Spider-Verse movies are some of the single greatest animated movies ever created. Like both of the first two, and just the evolution of the animation from the beginning frame to the end frame, the quality that they put into both those stories. I am if there's any one Marvel thing that I absolutely am dying to see, and I'm gonna day one be there for, that's it right there. That's it right there. Like that when that film drops, I'm there. I'm there with open arms.
I agree, man. It's gonna be something special, man. I mean, definitely something special. And for everyone that's a fan of all of these stuff, of all these things, I'd say just enjoy it, man. Just like definitely just. I mean, because
by the way, just as you said it right there, actually enjoy it. Please stop going into these movies like you're like a judge for a competition, and just watch the movie. Stop sitting there trying to pick out all the special effects. Stop sitting there trying to pick out what this is and that is. Sit back and just watch the film, man. And
stop spoiling. Spoiling.
Stop sitting there trying to be a detective and figure out the plot and everything. Just watch it and enjoy the plot. You're not an actual person inside the actual story itself. You don't need to figure stuff out. That's the character's job. Your job is to enjoy it through the character's eyes. Just enjoy watching a movie and stop trying to psychoanalyze everything, man. Like
actually, you gotta get the well, actually, Peter Parker doesn't really do that,
right? Just what I'm saying, there's nobody that's more hardcore fan of the things that I'm hardcore fan of, but I truly understand that I'm not always gonna get the actual thing up on the screen. At the very best, I get the spirit of the thing, and if I get the spirit of the thing, I'm fine with it. If you've given me something, if you've given me the cool moments, I'll set aside, specifics. Unfortunately, I mean, my Achilles heel has been the X-Men movies. I've trashed all of them. I am so psyched and looking forward to. That's the one. If Feige repairs the X-Men for me, please, Kev, just repair the one thing for me right there. That's the one thing that if you repair that, you could do no wrong in my eyes. You can do no wrong in my eyes.
I think what's her name? Sadie Sink. What's the girl's name from Stranger Things?
That's right.
So I don't know I don't know if she's playing Jean Grey in the Spider-Man film, but everyone's saying that she is. Cool. That's what's up. Like,
so Teen Jean Grey again. We're going with Teen Jean Grey, so we could raise her up, and she gets to be okay. All right.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's saying. I mean, like all lines kind of lead to certain comics. If
Kevin wanted to be gangster, if he really wanted to be the G and he wanted to be gangster, she isn't Jean Grey. She's Rachel.
Rachel.
Oh my Lord! If he does that,
Rachel Summers.
If he makes her Rachel Summers and introduces that, that would be the most gangster thing ever. If he did that, Kevin Feige's the G. He's the G right there.
So today is July 22nd. It is 9:27 here on the West Coast.
12:27 over here in the East.
12:27 on the East. When the film drops and we find out she's Rachel Summers, you called it.
Oof, bro. That would be so hard.
Yeah, you called it.
So hard if he did that. If he turned around and he just makes her Rachel Summers, oh my God. For people who don't know, by the way,
that would be sick.
That would be you could even tie it into the Days of Future Past storyline that you just got through doing anyway. Like you could totally tie that. Oh my God, that would be so hard. That would be so hard for people who don't understand exactly what we're talking about. If you've watched all the X-Men movies, you've seen Jean Grey, you've seen Scott Summers. There is a storyline in Marvel Comics in which Jean Grey and Scott Summers had a child, and that child is Rachel Summers. She's part of an alternate timeline that gets introduced during Days of Future Past, where Kitty Pryde sends her consciousness back in time to repair to stop an assassination that would lead to what would be the attempted extinction of mutants. And so in that timeline, once that timeline got corrected, Rachel Summers got kind of kicked out of her own timeline and stuck into their normal timeline. And she is at first a mystery character to Scott Summers, not knowing who she was, but later on finding out she is in fact their daughter, and she has the Phoenix powers all on her own. And she was, I described a particular storyline, which was like one of the coolest hardcore storylines that depicted Wolverine, where she was trying to kill Selene because Selene, who was basically a mutant vampire type who would steal the energy off of people and to make herself younger, and then that person would die. There was a guy that helped Rachel Summers out, and then she ran into that guy and sucked him dry and killed him. And Rachel Summers was on one. She was on the warpath, like just taking people out left and right, trying to get Selene. And then Wolverine gets in her way to stop her from being a killer and say, you can't do this. You don't want to cross that line. You don't want to become me. And then she's still just demanding him to get out of the way. And he puts his fist to her stomach, and all you see is a black cell in the comic book, and you hear the word "snicked," and he just took her out right then and there. And then the whole next issue was the X-Men trying to find Rachel, who survived the attack, but still, is still powerful and needs to be subdued. And they're all over Logan, like, what are you, crazy? You couldn't, that was the only way to stop her. It's like, no, you could have, like, it started like this whole conflict era that happened afterwards. Oh my God, that was Claremont on one, man. Chris Claremont's writing back then, dude, that whole storyline with Ray, dude, if you introduce her now and you're bringing her into this movie, oh my God, that would be so gangster. That would be so hardcore.
Cool. That would be cool, and that would be a way to introduce the new X-Men.
Yes.
That would be to keep them young and to keep them to keep the team in rotation, because technically Feige already does that when he'll give certain characters other people's responsibilities, like the creation of Ultron.
Right.
How Tony Stark is the creator of Ultron
instead of Pym, yeah.
And then only reason because there was so many mistakes in the film, so we didn't get Pym until later. And then
right,
I get it. But you know what? That would be actually pretty cool. Like
that would be hardcore, man. Look, if there's anybody, he's basically making Doomsday these movies to reboot the whole thing, to to just give it a whole new coat of paint and be able to reorganize it so he could start it off again. And I'm down with that. You've had chinks in the armor already. You want to fix all this stuff. Big reboot point. Crisis on Infinite Earths. You get to wipe out all these other realities and create one sacred timeline after that. I'm good with it. And if you're gonna do it that way, dog, that would be so hard. Hard. She's Rachel Summers.
That'd be cool, man. That would be cool. You think we're gonna get like a full X-Men deck? Like you're gonna get like?
Well, you're definitely gonna get a full X-Men movie after Doomsday. Like the Doomsday is the introduction of them, and then he's gonna completely retool that whole thing.
But do you think we're gonna get a shot of the X-Men in these films? Like, say, you get Wolverine and you get Deadpool, Cyclops. Like,
yeah, all those actors are coming back. But
a shot though. You think?
As them being cool. Yes. If you've gone through the trouble of getting these guys back, then you're doing what should have been done back in the day, and you're doing it correct. You're doing what you just did with the Spider-Man movie. If you're doing that with like what you just did with those villains, you're doing that with the X-Men, bro. I'm in. Let's go. This is my party. I am now down.
Highest grossing film of all time.
It could be. Oh my God!
And it's gonna be and then right around the holiday time. Oh my God.
Oof.
Oh my God.
I'm psyched. I'm psyched to see it. I know people are giving it crap. Screw that. If all of a sudden that thing blows the hell up and it's gonna be one of those things that stays in the theater for like the next month and a half, I'm down. I'll go watch that thing. I'll go watch that in IMAX. I'll go watch that in the infinity screen. I'll go watch it whatever different format you've got that you're going to throw it up on. I'm totally there. I'm watching it.
Hey, it comes out November or December?
It comes out December, right? Yeah, I think it comes out. It is a Christmas movie. Actually, we could punch up the Doomsday Clock I keep forgetting that we can always go to the Doomsday Clock and see it. Let's see, Avengers Doomsday 26.
I think Christmas time I'm gonna be home. I think I'll be in Miami.
It will be released December 18th. December 18th.
That's my birthday. Let's get it.
That's good. There it is. Yes, Avengers Doomsday.
Dang.
Are you going to be in Miami? Are you going to be at Miami? Or are you going to be out in LA?
No. I'm going to be in Miami, man. I think I'm going to come visit Miami for the holiday, my birthday and stuff.
So Davey, you can see that sucker in Davey in that new in that widescreen that they've got going on over there.
Really?
that whole theater. That whole theater out there in Davie is insane. So that would be the prime spot that I would send you to see it. Because remember, Doomsday can't. The reason why they're saying Infinity. What is it? Infinity screen? No, it's out in Infinity Scope or something like that. They can't get the IMAX screens because of Dune. Dune is going to have the IMAX screens for the first 3 weeks. So there's going to be 3 weeks of Dune in an IMAX screen, and that's going to go over the time of when Doomsday comes out. So Doomsday, for their first couple of weeks, is going to be out in regular theaters and all of those other types of formats that's not IMAX. Here in South Florida, there's only one real IMAX theater, which is the one out in Fort Lauderdale. Everything else, if they're saying it's IMAX, it's fake Max. That's not real IMAX. But you can see it in those other formats, and for me, it's just as cool. The IMAX thing only works really great when you've got the effect to make it great. Like I saw. What's the McConaughey? I'm in space movie, Interstellar. That tidal wave scene on the IMAX screen blew my doors off. But that's what it's good for. It's good for seeing things in that manner. You could still see whatever special effects movie on a regular screen. If it's done well, it's gonna pop.
Bro, as we doing this interview. I'm getting, dude. I'll send you a screenshot. Right? I was like,
everybody, their mom's calling up right now.
20 different, what do you call it? Text messages.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you want? Well, good friends, everyone. Before I get out of here, I want you all to have a wonderful and a very safe Comic-Con week. If you are coming from South Florida and you're flying to the West Coast, or coming to San Diego, California, do me a huge solid, please. And I really mean this from the bottom of my black heart. Please get the fuck out of my way.
That was awesome. Big thanks to ATO Worldwide for joining us on the show. Definitely going to be touching base back. Definitely going to be touching base. Oh, my God. Why can't I get the words out? Definitely going to come back to touch base on everything that went down at Comic-Con and, of course, the future projects that he couldn't really talk about while he was on here at this particular moment, but we'll be able to talk about in the future because, once again, Hall H exclusivity. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us and listening in. Remember, you can stream us also on Spotify and Apple Podcast as well as Amazon Music. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And in case I don't see you, good evening, good afternoon, and good night.